Sure.
Okay, let's see a quick one. You guys have such great chemistry. You talked about how you've got a jovial show. Your man Jeannie might have been getting under your skin, and that's a problem because
Yeah.
it's a
Well,
fun
it was
show.
me. It was, yeah,
I
I
know.
got too angry.
I know you guys are good. Could you? There are weird shows out there in sports talk where sometimes the hosts don't like each other, and that's part of the appeal. Could you ever imagine yourself in one of those that actually worked? This is a strange,
That
fanciful question, but
worked.
I'm fascinated by
I
anti-chemistry.
think
I'm fascinated by chemistry.
so I think, yeah, I mean, I think I could do a show. I think the only way that show can work is if it is a truly old school, old school's the wrong word, but original first take, undisputed style, tete-a-tete, almost scored arguments debate show. Like
Yeah.
if that is the setup where it is going to be one-on-one pugilistic sports arguments, you don't have to like each other. I don't think. I don't know how any other show could work like that. But do I
Yeah.
think like if let me pick someone I actually love as and a friend of yours friend of your show, so it's clear that I'm not shit talking anyone. If I, instead of loving Bomani, actually hated him, do I think he and I could do an hour-long sports argument show? Yes, I think that could work. But that's the only type of show that I think could work if you really hated the other person or didn't like the other person.
I think that's the case, at least for my own taste. But then there are these weird sports podcasts, and sometimes not even sports podcasts, where fans like arguing about whether the hosts like each other, and it's something people like to fixate on and ruminate on.
I feel like I'm so in the dark. Are there like shows out there that you're thinking of where it's like, oh, these guys don't like each other? Are you going to say one of them?
No.
Oh, damn it.
I'm not going to say. Maybe later I'll tell you. But people knew Mike and the Mad Dog back in the day was one of those shows where the guys didn't like each other. And I guess it's on my mind because of the Warriors thing.
I oddly think radio's different.
Tell me.
Well, so much of TV is visual and do you look comfortable? Do you look like whatever it is? No, I think I could do a long radio show with someone I didn't like because you can just be quiet and like you can be. So I've done radio. The only actual radio partner I ever had was the show called In the Loop in Houston with John Lopez. And I love that man with all my heart. But I've done radio shows, individual shows with people I didn't like at all. And that's different because it's just, it doesn't matter what you're wearing on your face. And you don't have to, if someone says something you find either abhorrent or ridiculous, you don't have to like, you know what I mean, act. You can make, so I don't know about podcasts. So like, yeah, maybe there's plenty of, just audio podcasts where people don't like each other and it plays great. Mike and the Mad Dog, I get it. Like, and that's, a long time ago, obviously, but I just think I think it'd be very, very hard to do a TV show that's a collaboration, where people don't like each other.
Yeah, I think you're correct. And it's this thing too, where when Shannon and Skip had their attention, people like sharing those clips and they go viral. But I remember seeing that and going, yeah, that's interesting when it goes viral, but I don't know if I want to sit when those uncomfortable moments are happening.
And like Shannon and Skip, listen, people I think make way too much of that breakup personally. Like the posters, they're in boxing gloves. Like it's 2.5 hours every day arguing with each other. They did it for 7 years. Like, how long do people think a show like that? Like you argue with someone every day for 15 hours a week. And then after 5 years, be like, yeah, let's do some more. And that's what they did. But one of the keys to that show was at the beginning of every show, they fist bumped and they really did like each other. And then at the end, obviously you got away from them. But so like I think it was became hard. I do think that is still though the only type of show you could do, or I could do. I shouldn't say for other people, for me. Like I don't think I would have to like my debate opponent if I'm just trying to win.
Well, I guess we'll end on this. How are you dealing with the expansion of your show? Are nerves fraying that you guys have,
going from 90 minutes to 2 hours?
Yeah. Are you
show,
fighting?
Remember, no,
are the Beatles
no.
breaking up?
No, keep in mind, show used to be 3 hours before it was Wilds and Brew. That show used to be 3 hours and started at 6:30 in the morning.
Wow.
So that was 6:30, 9:30 a.m. That was pre-pandemic. And then during the bulk of the pandemic, it was 2 hours. It was 7:30 and 9:30. So the 90-minute thing was like it's just how it happened when we moved to afternoons. So 2 hours always, for the type of show we have, 2 hours feels right. 90 minutes always felt a little, and I know it's crazy because a lot of shows are a half hour long, but just the way we do it, 90 minutes always felt a little tight. And even though we used to do a 3 hour show, there have been some times because of live event or whatever where the show gets kicked to 2.5 hours. I'm like, oh man, this thing's long. Like, we're stretching here. Which is so funny how your brain works because I've filled in for Colin weeks at a time, and that's 3 hours mostly solo, and that doesn't feel that long because it's such a different animal, like the monologuing and whatever. But no, the show, I feel great about the show. I love the show.
It's a great show.
If I may be self-congratulatory, I see a lot of aspects to our show, filtering not so lightly copied into other shows on other networks. Yeah. And I take that, at one point in time, I used to get super bothered. Like they stole that. Like that's but now it's a compliment. I'm like, oh, people like it. People like it. And it's fun. And I think so. No, yeah, you know how I feel about Wilds and Brew. I've talked about it. You wrote a really, really nice article maybe a year ago about our show, which I really appreciated. And yeah, I'm proud of it. I would like us. Wilds is going to be so mad at me if this piece right here gets aggregated, but I don't care. I would like to be nominated for the Emmy. Every year I look at the shows that are nominated in our category and I'm like, I don't know that we'd win, but I feel like there's at least one or two of these that we're better than. Like I'd like to be nominated for the Daily Sports Talk Show Emmy. And I know it's dumb, and I know that is something that is theoretically mortifying to say out loud, but there's no there's no trophies in our business except for, I guess, that. And
I get it. You're swimming in the now every day. You're swimming in the now. Actually, that's one of the interesting things about your show is that you sort of merge the now with what's going to happen in the future, and that's a whole other conversation. I understand wanting some sort of marker that you guys frankly deserove. It's a great show. You know how I feel about it.
You're one of our biggest supporters, and I appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know. I just want to be nominated for an Emmy. It just seems dope. And I see like Bomani does like interviews. His Emmys are behind him. Acho does interviews. His Emmys are behind him. Costas does an interview. He's got 100 Emmys. I don't even care about the statue or need to win it. And those guys, I think, won Emmys for individual stuff. I know Acho did. I think Bomani did too. I just want the show to have people be like, hey, it's kind of a different version of it, but whatever. Like, it's fine. I shouldn't say that. I said all this. This is going to be here's a prediction. The two most, like my draft picks of aggregation. Number one draft pick of what I'm guessing will be aggregated. Number one draft pick.
Okay.
Is going to be Nick Wright begs for an Emmy. And number two draft pick is going to be something about my politics. I think those are the
Probably.
two most likely.
And I was haunted the entire time after we had that conversation. That felt like a good conversation. But the entire time, like, I was thinking, did I do that right? You know, you just don't know. Politics is murky. I don't even want to get pulled back into the whole deal.
I don't care.
Yeah, who cares? It doesn't matter.